This is VOA Africa.
Good evening, I'm Esther Gidhu. It's Friday, December 27th. This is Africa 54. Cameroonian parents living along its border with Nigeria are trying to save their daughters from Boko Haram through marriage. Ugandan opposition politician Bobi Wine vows to rock the halls of power. We'll have a report. And in our entertainment report, the heart sounds of Ghanaian rapper and songwriter Kirani Ayat. Tonight, former Ivory Coast rebel leader and presidential candidate Guillaume Soro could face life behind bars over an alleged coup plot that involved amassing weapons, according to the country's public prosecutor. The Ivorian authorities issued an arrest warrant for Soro on Monday, prompting him to call off a planned homecoming after months overseas. The warrant is likely to increase tensions ahead of an October 2020 presidential election that is seen as a test of Ivory Coast's stability after two civil wars since the turn of the century. During a news conference, prosecutor Richard Adu played a recording made by Ivorian intelligence services in which Soro could allegedly be heard planning a coup. Soro's lawyer, Afuse Bambalamin, did not deny the authenticity of the recording, but stressed that it was from 2017 and incomplete. In a video posted Thursday on Facebook, Lamini says that Soro's team would release a full version of the audio soon. Soro is believed to be in Europe, although his exact whereabouts are unclear. He says the case against him is politically motivated. Now to Cameroon, where young girls are being married at an alarming rate. More than 1/3 of girls are married before the age of 18, but the highest rate is along the border with Nigeria, where 60% of girls go into child marriage. Parents say they are marrying off their daughters early to protect them from the Boko Haram terrorist group. Anne Nzoka has this report narrated by Moki Edwin Kinzeka.
Raid on the border town of Kawamafa 4 years ago, the Nigerian militants abducted this girl when she was just 13 years old. Now 17, Julie, not her real name, still remembers when the Islamist group forced her to be one of their wives.
One of them told me we're going into the bush. I said, no, I'm a little girl. What am I going to do in the bush? He said, you will become our wife. I said, no, please leave me. I want to stay with my mother. You killed my father and you want to take me to the bush. Leave me. I want to stay with my grandmother.
Julie escaped Boko Haram during a clash with Cameroon's military and returned to her village. The militants' frequent attacks raised fears the group would come for her, however. So Julie's uncle married her to a 40-year-old man living 120 kilometers, about 75 miles away, to be his third wife.
I have a lot of difficulties. I had a lot of farms before they took our land. I had goats. They came and took everything and destroyed the houses. Now I have nothing. I wanted my niece to be safe.
The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, says while more than 1/3 of Cameroonian girls are married before the age of 18, along the border with Nigeria, the rate jumps to 60%. While culture plays a role, parents say another reason is to protect their girls from Boko Haram. However, Cameroon's Ministry of Women's Empowerment and the Family says Boko Haram should not be used as an excuse for child marriage when parents could instead send their kids away to school.
Whether you are in insecure areas, in a pacified area, or in a peaceful area, the ideal for a child is to go to school and not in marriage. Parents must no longer use the pretext that the area is insecure.
2 years ago, a neighbor helped rescue Julie by telling the Association for the Promotion of Autonomy and Rights of Girls and Women about her forced marriage. Now in a shelter for child marriage victims, Julie takes classes for the first time. She wants to get a job and chose her own husband, says Julie, when she is ready. For Anne Zwanke in Kawa Mafa, Cameroon, Moki Edwin Kinzeka for VOA News.
Islamic State terrorist group has released a video purporting to show its militants beheading 10 Christian men in Nigeria. The group says it is part of a campaign to avenge the deaths of its leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, and its spokesman. The extremist group posted the footage on its online Telegram news channel on Thursday with Arabic captions, but no audio. The video showed men in beige uniforms and black masks lining up behind blindfolded captives, then beheading 10 of them and shooting an 11th man. As Uganda's presidential nominations draw closer, opposition politician Robert Kyagulanyi, better known as Bobi Wine, is vowing to rock the halls of power with a run for the nation's top job. Wine describes President Yoweri Museveni's 33 years in power as a dictatorship. Meanwhile, Museveni portrays Wine as the enemy of prosperity. Halima Thumani has more from Kampala.
Ugandan musician turned lawmaker Bobi Wine was once known as the ghetto president for his support base in city slums. But 2019 became the year Wine announced a bid to challenge President Yoweri Museveni for the actual top office. In an exclusive interview with VOA, Wine says he decided to run for president because Museveni has lost touch with young Ugandans.
He believes that the way to deal with our generation is to deal with the young man that represents it, that's Bobi Wine, blocking my musical shows, blocking me from any public interaction, trying to make it hard for me to speak to the people out there. In my opinion, he seems to be fighting with a ghost he cannot touch.
Wine and his supporters describe Museveni, who has been president since 1986, as a dictator. For his part, Museveni calls Wine an enemy of progress because he asks foreigners not to invest in Uganda until there is a change in leadership. The government has used police beatings and pepper spray, known as kamurali, to shut down Wine's concerts and break up protests by his supporters. Museveni said authorities need more muscle.
We now need manpower for the riot police to deal with some of our customers here in town, because we want just to camaraderie without killing anybody.
But Museveni is also trying to connect with young people and slum dwellers, a constituency that critics say he has ignored. In October, he appointed Wine's fellow musician, Mark Bugembe, known as Butcherman, as his presidential advisor on ghetto affairs. Butcherman, who took over the unofficial title of ghetto president when Wine became a lawmaker, rejects critics who say Museveni is using him.
So the ghetto president has no party. The development has no color. It is for all Ugandans. That's why I stood up just to come to save Uganda. Yes, I'm just there to connect the government with the ghetto people.
Analysts say Bobi Wine's quick rise in politics is due to young people tiring of false promises.
So this wave we are seeing is a strong statement from the young persons that, man, there is a raw deal. There is a raw deal in this you're telling us, and I think we're going to confront it.
Uganda's Electoral Commission has scheduled presidential nominations for August 20 of this coming year, with both Wine and Museveni expected to be their party's choice for the general election in 2021. Halima Thumani for VOA News, Kampala.
A corruption scandal is brewing in Namibia, where 2 former ministers and 4 others accused of taking bribes to offer fishing rights remain in custody. On Friday, a court dismissed their urgent release application. The 6 are accused of conspiring to receive $100 million Namibian dollars or equivalent to $6.8 million in kickbacks from subsidiaries of Iceland's biggest fishing company, Samherji, to secure quotas. Former Justice Minister Sakias Shanghala and Fisheries Minister Bernard Iso, along with two former employees of South Africa's financial services firm Investec, have been officially charged with fraud, laundering and tax evasion. They have been in jail for a month awaiting trial. Their next hearing is scheduled for February 20th. The U.S. Supreme Court is set to rule next year on several cases involving the financial records of President Donald Trump and the Trump Organization, which have been demanded by Democrats investigating corruption and foreign meddling in the 2016 presidential election. VOA White House correspondent Patsy Widakuswara reviews the cases involving the president's businesses and how he tries to shield his finances from scrutiny.
2019 was marked by a number of court cases seeking access to Trump's financial records through subpoenas from Congress and New York prosecutors. In 2020, the Supreme Court will hear 3 of those cases, with arguments scheduled for March.
What it really means is trying to find out where Trump's money is, how much he's really worth, to learn a little bit more about the bankruptcies, how he does business, and whether or not he's being honest and forthright with the American people.
Opposition Democrats have long demanded Trump's tax returns to see if he has conflicts of interest from dealing with foreign actors, whether he cheated on his taxes, and whether he benefited from his 2017 tax reform plan.
Show us the tax returns.
Meanwhile, lawsuits allege the Trump International Hotel in Washington violates the anti-bribery or emoluments clause.
Saudi Arabia holding a big gala event at the Trump International Hotel, so the president knows they did it. So that raises the exact concern that the framers, the original authors of the Constitution, were worried about, which is, are foreign governments currying favor with the president by giving him gifts?
When he took office, Trump broke norms and refused to divest from his businesses. He denies using the presidency for personal interests and continues to use his properties for political purposes. In the third quarter of 2019 alone, fundraisers at Trump Properties raised $125 million for the Trump 2020 campaign and Republican National Committee.
I have a lot of hotels all over the place, and people use them because they're the best.
In September, critics lashed out at Vice President Mike Pence for staying at the Trump resort during his official visit to Ireland. And in October, after fierce pushback, Trump abandoned plans to host the 2020 G7 summit at his Miami resort. That same month, the Trump Organization said it is considering selling the leasing rights of the Trump Hotel in Washington, partly because of ethics concerns. But the hotel is located in a building owned by the General Services Administration, a federal agency. The sale may create further conflict of interest.
There's no firewall right now between the White House and the General Services Administration, so that could raise questions about potential self-dealing.
In November, Trump paid $2 million to settle a lawsuit alleging he misused funds raised by his charity to promote his presidential campaign. Patsy Widakuswara, VOA News at the White House.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared a huge victory Friday after winning a leadership primary that ensures he will lead his right-wing Likud party into a March general election. Israel's longest-serving prime minister is facing a corruption indictment and a third general election in 12 months. He secured 72% of the vote, and his rival Guillaume Soro garnered only 27%. The significant margin of victory strengthened his position in the party he has dominated for 20 years. In a tweet, Netanyahu expressed his excitement and confidence, saying, quote, "A huge win. Thank you to Likud members for their trust, support, and love. With God's and your help, I will lead the Likud to a big victory in the upcoming election, and we will continue to lead the state of Israel to unprecedented achievements." We're excited to hear what you think about Africa 54. Join the discussion on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. We're also streaming our broadcast live on Facebook. Please watch and share our show with your friends. Also check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Still to come, the sounds of Ghanaian rapper and songwriter Kirani Ayat. We'll be back.
I'm Clara Frank, and here's what's trending. The latest food trend has arrived in the Arctic Circle. For visitors to Finnish Lapland, there's usually a meat-filled menu of reindeer and salmon, but not anymore. The latest addition to the culinary scene is embracing vegan and vegetarian dishes. Veganism, a current trend that emerged in London during World War II, is based on a diet free of animal products, unlike vegetarians who accept the intake of milk or eggs. Next up, just a few years ago, it would have been unthinkable to see owners walking their dogs around the streets of Amman. In a new trend in the Arab kingdom, Jordanians are increasingly willing to foot steep bills to care for beloved dogs and cats, and fork out to pamper their pooches with accessories and top-notch care. There's been a remarkable rise in the number of pet owners, says Marwan Al-Haj Ali, who opened the first hotel and training center for dogs in Jordan in 2018, called the Pet Zone. Room and board costs $4 a day, with anxious owners able to keep an eye on their pets via online cameras. And in other dog news, are you getting a new pet in 2020 but can't think of a name? If you're stuck for ideas, your music streaming app might be a great place to start. Rover.com's pet trends expert Kate Jaffe says the name Lizzo is up 100% year over year for dogs. Names like Taylor Swift was up 400% this year after she had a really big year. Even names like Beyoncé, Ariana, as in Grande, are all trending up this year. Jaffe predicts pets named in 2020 to reflect major pop cultural moments, which explains why Meghan is a new top pick. And that's what's trending today.
The holiday season is always the most beautiful time of the year in the U.S. Capitol, with many amazing holiday light displays from the National Zoo to the White House Christmas tree. But this year is extra special with Enchant Christmas at Nationals Park. Here's VOA's Saqib Al-Islam.
This holiday season, DC residents are finding the magic in this spectacular Christmas wonderland.
Lights and lights and lights. There are a lot of lights.
Created with 2.5 million lights, visitors can enjoy a 100-foot-tall Christmas tree, a glowing ice skating rink, and a Christmas market in this spectacle.
Are you looking for the reindeer?
However, most of the visitors are here on a mission to find hidden reindeers among huge maze of larger-than-life, stunning light sculptures. Santa's reindeers have gone missing, and you have to help him out to save the Christmas. That's the theme here at Enchant Christmas, world's largest Christmas light maze here in Washington, D.C. It's easy to get lost in these lights, but worry not. Santa's town people are everywhere to help you out in this 90,000 square foot light maze.
And once everyone finds the Santa's reindeer, all 9, they get to go upstairs and meet the big guy himself.
This family from Lynchburg, Virginia, has found all 9 reindeers and now getting ready to meet Santa and get their wishes granted.
I want a toy for Christmas. Hanging out with my family.
Oh.
However, if you cannot meet Santa in person, you can write a letter. There is a good old letterbox and supplies to write.
I wrote I wanted a new iPhone and Disney books.
Okay, and we put a beach vacation and some cash.
Many like the lights,
I personally like the big reindeer because we got reindeer at our house, but obviously not as big.
And others just being with their loved ones.
It hasn't felt too much like Christmas this December, but we're like, we need to do something very Christmassy, and like it's so magical.
It's nice seeing everyone coming with people they love just to spend time together in a bright place.
This Christmas wonderland in heart of Washington, D.C. is bringing out the true Christmas spirit in visitors, young and old alike.
We wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Saqib Islam, VOA News, Washington.
It's time for Entertainment Report with Music Time in Africa host Heather Maxwell. Heather just recently met with Ghanaian artist Kirani Ayat and has a scoop for us. Hello, Heather.
Hello, Esther. Hello, everyone, and happy last Friday of 2019. One of the most exquisite music videos to come out of Ghana this year was Gouda by singer, rapper, and songwriter Kirani Ayat. Shot in the northern city of Bolgatanga and directed by David Nikosei, the video won the overall Best Video Award at Foresight TV in November and was nominated Best Video of the Year at Vodafone Ghana Music Awards. I met Kirani last month in Accra, where he explained that Gouda means the one in Hausa. It's a tale of struggle, perseverance, determination, and the will to succeed. For Ayat, that means being #1 Afro trap artist in Ghana. But what a great message for all of us to carry into the new year, to try and be our own best #1. Now, let's watch Gouda. Yes, and that was Gouda by Kirani Ayat from Ghana. And that's our entertainment segment for today. For more music time in Africa, be sure to listen to my hour-long radio program live on Saturdays and Sundays on FM and shortwave radio, or listen online anytime at voanews.com. Just search for Music Time in Africa. And please follow me on my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Twitter at Music Time Africa, or Instagram at MTIA Maxwell, and Facebook at Music Time in Africa. Once again, Happy New Year, and see you in 2020. Esther, back to you.
Heather, thank you so much. Now, Gouda, tell me a little more about Kirani, because you met him. What is he working on next?
Kirani is now working on his first debut album, and it's named after his mother, Aisha. So the name of the album is Aisha's Son. And by the way, he told me that his mother and father, when he was a little kid, they used to watch VOA and listen to VOA all the time. So he was super excited that I interviewed him in Ghana, and he's really proud of that.
Heather, thank you so much. Well, keep it here in VOA. And be sure to join Heather Maxwell each Friday for an exciting entertainment report right here on Africa 54. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. From all of us here in Washington, have a safe and happy weekend. We'll see you soon. Heather.